The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan is one of the most anticipated film. It was the most anticipated film of this year, and God, oh God, I mean, I can't even express the experience I had with this film in words. Like, this was something else. This is by far one of the most brilliant and majestic cinema experience I had in years. And besides the woke controversy which is going on the internet, and Odyssey's trailer being the most disliked trailer in history of YouTube, I don't think the online hate did translate to the box office, because in the box office also the film is doing really well, and the critical acclaim which this film has gotten. I mean, this is the highest rated Christopher Nolan film, I think. It has also surpassed Dark Knight's Rotten Tomatoes rating. Let's see now. With more days to go, more reviews will come up, and the ratings might go up, might go down, but till now it is the highest rated Nolan film. So how was it? Like, what was really special about this film? And I don't think that I can really do a critical analysis of this film because I'm so biased towards Nolan. But even my biasness did not work during the time of Tenet, or during the time of Dunkirk, because I thought that those films were really emotionally not up to the mark. But Oppenheimer really worked for me. It worked for me so much that I ended up watching it 3 times. Now I don't know how many times I will watch Odyssey, because I think Odyssey comes really, really close to Dark Knight when it comes to my all-time favorite Nolan films. I think that Odyssey has surpassed Interstellar, Inception, Memento, Prestige for me, and it is right up there. I mean, it is close to the greatness. I personally feel it's close to the greatness of Dark Knight, to be very honest, if not better. Dark Knight still has some really better, more better elements to it than Odyssey. But with time, I think Odyssey will grow on me a lot. And right now, I really can't express how I feel, because this was a majestic experience. I was not expecting this film to be this good. Like, I personally feel that this is one of the best Nolan films I have seen in a long time. Probably the second best Nolan film. How can I comment on the plot of a 3,000-year-old epic poem? It is just as important or significant as our Ramayana or Mahabharata. Homer's Iliad and Odyssey are one of the best and one of the biggest and one of the most read epics of all time. Iliad being the first part of the epic, and I think that I did brought a lot of memories back, because I heard about Iliad and Odyssey when I was in class 3. I did in my ICSE board, they used to teach all these things, but I never really read it, to be very honest. So as it helped actually, because I didn't know much about the plot of Odyssey, and I did read parts of Iliad before watching it, and I've seen the film Troy, which I love. And the story takes place from where actually not Troy ends, because Troy is actually a film which combines the tale of Iliad and Achilles' Heels. Achilles' Heel is a different plot which does not take place in both Iliad and Odyssey. So it really takes place from the time Hector dies. Odyssey's plot starts from there, and I think that the initial 10-15 minutes of the film was really a little bit awkward, because the editing style of Nolan's cut during conversation scenes are so rapid and so fast that sometimes it's very difficult to follow what the characters are saying. And also the sound mixing does not really help either. But then after 10-15 minutes in the film, I saw set pieces after set pieces. Everyone will enjoy the set pieces. Like, there are 8 to 9 set pieces in the film which will remind you of Dark Knight. Dark Knight is a film it's a great film because of the villain and the philosophy, but it is also great because of the set pieces. The set pieces are great, even though none of the Dark Knight films, so the Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, or Dark Knight, none of those films have great sequences like the corridor sequence in Inception, or the airplane sequence in Inception. And in Odyssey, there are a number of sequences. I can't even remember how many number of sequences in the film which are great. Like, absolute peak cinema, which we say in internet terms. And there is the sequence of the first time when they enter Troy with one portion of the army inside the Trojan horse. Then when they go to attack, the score used in that sequence. And then when they actually do the massacre in the city of Troy, when they are attacked by those large monster-like humans in the forest, or the monster inside that den, the one-eyed monster. I am forgetting the name of that monster. Then there is this creature which comes out of the water from a whirlpool. Actually, that is one sequence, and then believe me, these are like names of these monsters are really difficult to remember because these are Greek names, and I really don't have much context. I will read about it a lot, but visually, cinematically, the den sequence, the Troy attack sequence, the Troy entry sequence with inside the Trojan horse, the sequence where a lot of a very very devastating thing happens to Odyssey when he gets separated from his team, and there's a horrifying sequence of Cersei. People who know the plot knows what I'm talking about. So that sequence, two of the most important sequences in the film, have Nolan showing his skill as a horror director. Like, if the rumors are true and he ends up making a horror film in the coming few years, a lot of people are saying that his next film is a horror film, then that will be a movie to watch out for, because the den sequence, the one-eyed monster sequence in the film, is one of those horrifying sequences I've seen in a long time. It reminded me of Ridley Scott's Alien, the first film. Then the Cersei sequence, which is horrifying, absolutely horrifying, one of the most weirdly horrifying and satisfying sequences in the film. Then the performances in the film, my god, I mean, Matt Damon as Odysseus is so complex, so at times relatable as well. The helpless, it's not a very inspiring story. Nolan is not telling a very inspiring Odysseus story. Like, Odysseus is not Nolan's most inspiring hero. He is a failed human being. This tale is about his failures and the little bit of success and strategy which he applies at the fag end of the story. This is a story about that. 70% to 80% of the story is him failing and surrendering to his fate. That is why the redemption, or whatever, the beauty in the third act is what comes off as a bittersweet ending to the character, and that is what made me really like the story. Anne Hathaway as Penelope is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and Robert Pattinson as Antinous is the most evil thing I've seen, most harmless evil thing I've seen in films in recent times. I really wanted to smack his face after a point, and Charlize Theron as Calypso is brilliant. Himesh Patel as Euryclides, I think, is one of the best performances in the film, and he has more screen time than Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy, or the maid played by Mia Goth. A lot of people are not talking about Mia Goth in the film. Mia Goth is there in the film. She's brilliant. Also, I loved Zendaya as Athena. I loved her performance. I am not a very big fan of Tom Holland's performance, but at the very end, he really shows up to the character. But throughout the film, he looked a little uncomfortable, I thought, in the film. I'm also forgetting a lot of names. A lot of people are there in the film, and I'm forgetting a lot of names. And it's very right now. It's very impossible to really point out every single actor, because every single actor is a known face who wants to be a part of a Nolan frame, right from Oppenheimer to Odyssey. And performances are great. The action set pieces are great. The cinematography of the film is one of the best cinematography work I've seen in recent times. I'm forgetting the name. I'm very bad with names, but he's too good. His colors in the film, his tone, really makes it a visual experience to remember. It's an immersive experience because of his camera work. And the IMAX scope really justifies the entire scale of this epic. Nolan once said that if you have to make Odyssey, if you have to make a film entirely on IMAX cameras, then Odyssey is a story. Because before that, he was doing the shoot in IMAX only in parts, right? There was a ratio jerk you always see right from Dunkirk. One scene is IMAX, one other scene is not IMAX, right? But in this film, this is the first film shot entirely in IMAX. This is also the first time Nolan is doing that, and they had invented this blip system due to which the sound from the IMAX camera will not interrupt the actors. This is what I heard while they were shooting the film, and that justifies the entire scope. Every scene, especially when Odysseus goes to meet those dead souls in Hades. That sequence, that is not an action sequence. That is a great sequence, and I thought that was really nice. And then I thought the score was brilliant. Ludwig Göransson has done a brilliant job, especially two of the sequences in the film. The one where they enter Troy secretly after getting out of the Trojan horse, and the climax of the film, which is a brilliant climax, one of the most massy climax I've seen in and dialogue buzz in that film. In that sequence, it's great. Those two sequences are enhanced and peaked due to Garnison's score, and that is so great, and that really brings life to the film itself. And my only complaints with the film, there are very little things which I can complain about this film. My only complaint is the edit of the conversation scenes in the first few minutes. The initial conversation which Antinous has with Telemachus, which is the character played by Tom Holland, who is Odysseus' son. That scene feels very rapid. That the conversation is not edited properly. I thought that the editing jerk in the film really affected my experience a bit. In the initial few minutes, also the sequence where his Telemachus is getting mentored by his teacher during a fight sequence and all. That scene also felt a little bit rapidly edited. That bothered me a little. And also one more thing, which I really noticed. It is a technical thing. It is just me finding little flaws in a great film. Is that in an IMAX camera, when you do a rack focus, when you change focus, suppose one character is standing at the foreground, one character is standing at the background, right? And when the rack focus is happening, two characters are talking. So the character who is talking, the focus will be on that character, and the other characters will be out of focus. So when the focus is shifting, it feels loud. I mean, as if someone is making a sound when the focus is shifting. I think it happens with IMAX camera. I don't know, but when in this particular film, when two characters were talking in one frame, and the focus was shifting from one character to another, it was really loud. It felt like the focus change was really visible on the face, underlined. I think it happens with IMAX, and I don't know. So this is one grudge I have with the film. So yeah, I really love the film. I really love the structure of this film. Nolan made his own Odyssey, which is completely different from the structure of Homer. Even though the plot-wise, he is very faithful in the film. A lot of people might have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. I love Nolan's own structure, own editing structure, which was completely non-linear, and I think completely different from what is there in the original source material. And I think that I will go back and read the book right now. I have the book. I'll go back and read the book and really know the entire story. But I will keep and treasure this cinematic experience I have for the rest of my life, because I think this film is one of the most. This is going to be one of the most favorite films of mine, of Nolan, and this is going to be right at the top of my ranking of all the Christopher Nolan films, because Christopher Nolan has never made a bad film. A lot of people say that Tenet is a bad film. I don't think Tenet is a bad film. I think Tenet is a very complicated, unnecessarily complicated film, which works really well as a sci-fi, but not as an emotional tale. It is a sci-fi film with no emotions at all, which is there in Interstellar. But this is a film everyone should watch, and this is my fresh reaction after coming out of the theater. I will again go and watch it for the second time, maybe for the third time as well, and hopefully this film will grow on me. And yeah, this is a really great film, and thank you. Nolan has made his 4 years of wait worth it. Again, we will probably have his next film in 3 years or 4 years, but till that time, this film really satisfied me, and I can live with this for the next 3 to 4 years. So that was my review. That was my reaction to this film. Let me know in the comment section what you feel about the particular film, and where do this film lies in your ranking of all-time best Christopher Nolan films. Thank you for watching.